There is a story of an ancient yogi who sat by the banks of the Ganges, watching the river flow endlessly toward the sea. A disciple once asked him, "Master, why do so many seekers come to you with heavy hearts, calling it depression?" The yogi closed his eyes and whispered, "Because they have forgotten the sacred river within. They call it sadness, but the body speaks a language deeper than words." Imagine waking up every day with a weight you cannot name, a hollowness that no achievement fills, a longing that no love satisfies. What if the ache you carry isn't a flaw in your mind, but a cry from your very life force, starved of its essence? This isn't just about desire or abstinence. It's about the silent war between your energy and your exhaustion, between what you've been taught to suppress and what your soul demands to express. Swami Sivananda, the sage of Brahmacharya, once said, "You are not depressed, you are sexually drained," a phrase that shocks the modern ear. But beneath its surface lies a truth as old as the Himalayas, that the energy which creates life also creates art, joy, and the fire of purpose. When this energy is scattered, wasted, or trapped in shame, the soul grows pale. Think of a lamp with its oil slowly leaking. No matter how bright the wick, the flame will flicker and dim. And so you ask yourself, why do I feel so empty? While the answer pulses in your veins, unspoken, let's journey deeper. The ancients knew what modern science is only beginning to grasp, that sexual energy is not merely physical, but the very currency of creativity, vitality, and spiritual awakening. In the Taoist traditions, they called it Jing, the primordial essence. In the tantric teachings, it's the coiled serpent of Kundalini. Even Freud, despite his limitations, recognized the libido as the driving force behind human endeavor. But here's the paradox. We live in an age that simultaneously hypersexualizes the body and sterilizes the soul. We are bombarded with images that inflame desire yet starve it of meaning, turning what should be sacred into something either shameful or superficial. And so, the energy that could build empires within you is siphoned off, leaving behind a fatigue no sleep can cure. Ask yourself this: when was the last time you felt truly alive? Not just excited, not just distracted, but vibrating with a quiet, unshakable vitality? If the answer eludes you, consider this. Your depression may not be a chemical imbalance, but a spiritual bankruptcy. A bankruptcy caused by giving away your essence too cheaply, too thoughtlessly, or locking it away in a vault of guilt. Swami Sivananda warned of this. To misuse the creative force is to drain the soul of its light. And yet, how many of us have been taught to harness this force rather than fear it? How many have been guided to see it as the bridge between earth and heaven, between the human and the divine? Here's the turning point. Brahmacharya, often misunderstood as mere celibacy, is not about denial, but about mastery. Not about repression, but about redirection. It's the art of transforming raw desire into refined power. The power to create, to meditate, to transcend. Think of the artist lost in the flow of painting, the athlete in the zone, the mystic in ecstatic prayer. They are all channeling the same energy that others spend in pursuit of fleeting pleasures. The difference is direction. The difference is intention. And this is where your liberation begins. Before we continue, this type of video takes time and effort. If you enjoyed the content and want to support me, you can do so through Super Thanks. Thank you to everyone who appreciates the effort. Let's complete the journey together. Now, let's speak plainly. You've been told that your weariness is a malfunction, a disorder to be medicated. But what if it's a signal? A signal that your energy is leaking from wounds you didn't know you had. Wounds of unworthiness, of loneliness, of believing you must earn love through performance or pleasure. Modern psychology calls this attachment trauma. The mystics call it forgetting your divine nature. Either way, the result is the same: a life force diverted from its true purpose. Consider this story. A man spends years chasing intimacy through one hollow encounter after another, each leaving him emptier than the last. One day, he collapses under the weight of his own exhaustion and hears a voice within say, "Stop, this is not the love you seek." That voice is not depression, it is wisdom. It is the part of you that remembers wholeness. The part that knows pleasure without reverence is poison, and desire without devotion is a slow starvation. So where does the path lead? To the heart of Brahmacharya's secret that sexual energy is the microcosm of all energy. How you relate to it is how you relate to life itself. Do you grasp at it desperately, fearing scarcity? Do you numb it, ashamed of its power? Or do you honor it as the sacred current that can electrify your every act? The choice is yours. But know this, the fatigue you feel is not the end. It's the invitation to begin again, to reclaim what you've lost, to stop calling your thirst by the wrong name. And here we arrive at the threshold. The next insight will reveal how to transmute this energy, not through force, but through a love so profound it rewires the very way you inhabit your body. Because the opposite of depression isn't happiness, it's aliveness. And aliveness is what happens when you stop leaking your essence and start channeling it toward the light. Subtle reminder, if this resonates with you, don't forget to like and subscribe. The journey is just beginning. Now, let's pause and reflect. Have you ever noticed how animals in the wild are never depressed? They follow their instincts without apology, without guilt. A lion doesn't question its roar. A river doesn't apologize for its flow. Yet humans, the most conscious of beings, are also the most fragmented. Why? Because we've been taught to distrust our deepest energies, to pathologize our longing, to medicate our hunger for the infinite. But what if your exhaustion is not a disease, but a rebellion? A rebellion against a life half lived? Think of the monks who meditate for hours, the athletes who push their limits, the mothers who labor through the night. They draw from the same well of energy that you've been taught to fear or squander. The difference is discipline. The difference is devotion. And most of all, the difference is seeing energy as sacred. So I leave you with this question. What could your life look like if you stopped calling your power by the wrong name? If you stopped mistaking your thirst for water as a sign of brokenness? The answer is waiting in the silence. The answer is written in your bones. And the path to it is simpler than you think. There's a reason the greatest artists, warriors, and sages throughout history guarded their vital energy like a sacred flame. Michelangelo, when asked how he carved his masterpiece, David replied, "I saw the angel in the marble and carved until I set him free." But what if the true masterpiece was not the statue, but the man himself? His discipline, his focus, his ability to channel his creative fire into something timeless. This is the secret of Brahmacharya. It's not about denying desire, it's about refining it, directing it, letting it fuel something greater than momentary pleasure. Ask yourself, what could I create if I stopped wasting my essence on distractions? If I stopped letting my energy trickle away in restless scrolling, in compulsive fantasies, in relationships that drain rather than deepen me? The ancients called this Ojas, the subtle reservoir of vitality that glows brightest in those who master their impulses. You've felt glimpses of it, those rare moments when you were so absorbed in a task that time vanished, when your mind was clear, your body alive, your spirit unshakable. That wasn't luck. That was you, undiluted, undistracted, fully aligned. But here's the painful truth. Modern life is designed to scatter your energy, to keep you chasing cheap dopamine instead of lasting fulfillment, to make you believe that exhaustion is normal, that burnout is inevitable, that your fatigue is just how life is. But what if you've been lied to? What if the heaviness you carry isn't depression, but the weight of a power you've been taught to ignore? Let me tell you a story. In the Himalayas, there's a legend of a yogi who could sit motionless in freezing snow, his body radiating heat like a furnace. When his disciples begged him to teach them his secret, he said, "The same fire that most men let burn out in scattered sparks, I keep as a single flame. That flame is your birthright, but you must choose. Will you let it be a wildfire, burning out of control, leaving only ashes? Or will you forge it into a forge, shaping the raw material of your life into something unbreakable?" This is where most turn back, because it's easier to call it depression, to medicate the symptom rather than confront the cause. But you're still here, which means part of you knows that there's more, that your weariness is not a life sentence, it's a crossroads. So let me ask you directly, what would happen if, for 1 month, you treated your energy as sacred? If you stopped giving it away to whoever asks? If you guarded your attention like a king guards his treasury? Would your mind sharpen? Would your creativity surge? Would your body begin to hum with a current you'd forgotten existed?